Hello, and welcome to another episode of PTR Perspective, this time from Berlin at CWIEME Berlin. And my first guest is Ms. Kirsi Seppäläinen. She is the VP of Commercial Planning and Product Management at Stora Enso Biomaterials. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Kirsi, your background is uniquely creative and strategic, blending the art and business. Could you start by introducing yourself and the role that you're playing at Stora Enso?
Yes. As said, I work in commercial planning and product management. In our pulp business, so overlooking quite a lot of many different kind of pulp products, looking also at the innovation, the technical customer service, and also working myself directly with some customers. So quite a lot of creativity needed in balancing all of those different areas.
Amazing. Walk us through the mission of yours, to replace fossil-based materials. How do you see this bioeconomy vision transforming industries today, especially in the packaging industry?
Yes, of course. We work, our main raw material is forest and trees. And we believe really that we can replace all the fossil-based materials of course, in the long run with materials made out of wood. So, and we think it's very important because we see that the climate change is not going away. We need to change some of the fossil-based materials. We need to take out plastic and replace it with more sustainable alternatives. So that's why I think it's really nice to work with these new innovations as well, and really see that what are all the things that we can actually make out of wood, which is a very natural raw material.
And do you see any hurdles in this? Like, is this a smooth journey? There's a lot of, let's say, knowledge sharing involved, a lot of learning, a lot of teaching involved in this.
Yes, of course, because we are going into many value chains where we have not been before. And it's, of course, always learning that how does this market work? How does this value chain work? What are really the most important factors for the customers and the consumers in this value chain? So there is always a lot to learn, because obviously we know our raw material, but then it can be applied in many different end uses. And all of these end uses are very different from each other.
And are you using certain channels to sort of, teach or persuade the other industry stakeholders? You see a lot of challenges in this because whenever I talk about, relaying the message of sustainability in different industries, that's a big challenge, something that's against the status quo. There is a lot of learning that needs to happen. So are you using certain channels, certain methods to sort of educate people on this?
Yes, of course. And I think also the main challenges, of course, are that usually we can get the same performance, but usually the cost is higher because you have a very sustainable raw material, and it starts with small scale. So also scaling up is many times the hurdle. And then also we have, of course, also the challenge that there's a lot of talk about using forests industrially. Does that even accelerate the climate change? So we have to do a lot of education as well, that how do we work with the forest and what is important there. Also in these new value chains, when people don't know, they don't have the tradition and they don't know enough. So there is a lot of different ways. Of course, we talk to our customers, but we also always want to go beyond our customers in the value chain. So in that sense, it's also very important to come to fairs like this, because then you can reach out many different actors in the value chain and try to help with the story.
Right. So, Chrissy, that's the push. That's the education that you are sort of spreading, and the knowledge that you're sharing. Let's talk about the policy and the legislative side of it. What role do you think that is being played at that level, at policy level, for example, by the EU or other governments around the world in accelerating this?
I think that is very crucial, because we need both legislation. We also need incentives to help, of course, to overcome some of the hurdles. So and also from the European Union and other regulators, they should also be part of this education, because many times in when we are talking about sustainability, the big challenge, it's us. It's us, the consumers, because we say when we are asked in surveys that we are willing to make the sustainable choice. But when we go into the store, then we take the cheapest product. So there is a mismatch there. So I think that the regulation and incentives are really very much needed to push the agenda and make the value chain partners collaborate, create these kind of collaboration hubs as well, and also accelerate the change, because we are running out of time.
And I heard that this is your first time at the show at CWIEME. How has it been so far for you, and why is it important for you? What's the value that you think that you'll be able to take from here at the CWIEME show?
Of course, this is the first day, so not maybe not so much experience, but lovely to see that there's a lot of different actors and from the different value chains. So I think for us it's really important because we actually have a new product that will be part of the value chain, and that's why we want to also increase the importance that we are talking about electrical insulation papers and boards, and our pulp is a critical part of that. So that you should pay attention also to those raw materials that for a transformer builder seem to be very unimportant in a way, but they can actually make your transformer much more sustainable if you make the right choices from the beginning.
It's a very good point, because I've been in conversations with people where we talk about the carbon footprint of manufacturing something, and then we've heard some weird comments like, how do you think, like, do you see any smoke coming out of it? Well, how do you think the carbon footprint of a transformer is so high? Like, do you know the raw materials that are going into manufacturing something? And things like the core manufacturing or even the insulation for a transformer or motors, for example, these are crucial components of these systems.
Yeah.
So it does matter on a larger scale. It is going to matter then.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you face these discussions as well, that the impact is not evident or visible from the high level view that people typically view these things from a 35,000 feet view, that hey, the manufacturing carbon footprint is not that high. But it's only when you start dissecting these things, then you realize, individual components do matter a lot.
Yeah, and also in carbon footprints, when we are talking about the climate change, every kilogram counts.
Every kilogram counts.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have any advice for companies who are sort of trying to use sustainability as an inspiration of innovation, for example? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I think that the fundamental thing is really to make sustainability not an add-on, not something that there is the sustainability department, they are going to take care of it. But it should be part of your strategy. It should be part of the whole DNA of your company, that everything is based on that. And as a small example, that, for example, when we are innovating and creating new products, we have a checklist that you have to tick all the boxes, and sustainability criteria is one of them. So we don't bring anything to the market if we can't tick the sustainability angle, if we are not making an improvement to the environment, because that's so fundamental for us, because we really want to make an impact. So I think that you really need to get the commitment from top on and make it really part of your strategy. So it's everywhere and not just a department somewhere.
Not limited to the part.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Kirsi. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I think the message is that all the industry stakeholders need to play their role, from a legislation point of view, and then actually understanding that how sustainability is going to play a role in manufacturing something, and then using that as an inspiration of innovation for your processes. Thank you so much for sharing this knowledge. I hope this was very useful for our viewers as well, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.